Good morning. Thanks for joining us for the Proactive Woman podcast. Our CEO and managing partner at JP Financial Group is Joyce Palmer, and I am your co host, Fran Marie. Now, you can schedule a complimentary consultation with Joyce Palmer by visiting jpfinancialgroupllc.com. You'll find a wealth of information about how money can work for you, especially when the word retirement comes up. So, Joyce, we have a special guest today. We are
Yes,
connecting dots.
that's right. Welcome back, guys. This is the Proactive Woman podcast. And we believe retirement planning isn't just about money, it's also about life, that you have health so you can enjoy the money. So, today's episode may surprise you because we talked about investments, we talked about Social Security, we talked about long term care. But how often do we talk about our teeth? What if I told you guys that your oral health could impact your heart, your longevity, and even your retirement budget? So that's why we are excited to have Dr. Don Tempton, an experienced dentist who understands that what happens in your mouth doesn't stay in your mouth. Dr. Tempton, thank you for being here today.
Well, thank you. Thank you, ladies. It's my pleasure. Hopefully, I'll get an opportunity to share a few pearls with you that you get a chance to take and be useful. Yes.
That's right. We want to connect the dots. So, what's this healthy heart and healthy retirement and how does it all connect together, especially for women, because a large portion of our audience is women, however, we like men too, right? But
They can be helpful. That's right.
but how does it all connect? What's the heart what's that song? The heart's connected to the X bone.
Elbow.
Oh yeah, yeah, that. How does it all connect?
Well, I always like to begin with the story of the fact that we are all born, and well, most of us anyway, but that happens typically in a hospital. And in that scenario, we would remember that we've got to pass certain types of tests before we're allowed to be released. Mom has to be healthy enough and stable enough where she can be able to go home. And the baby also has to be able to demonstrate certain behaviors. And one of those behaviors is that they've got to demonstrate to that medical staff that they can sustain themselves. So they have to be able to intake nutrients. Those nutrients either coming from the mother directly or either from nursing. But the reality is that they've got to demonstrate their ability to sustain themselves. Once that's done, then they get to go home. So we know the importance of being able to eat and maintain health starts at the very beginning. And we know that we're kind of composed of two different systems, as I like to describe it, an inner and an inner outer. And it sounds a little bit strange, but let me try to give you a thought or a visual of that. We have a body, this wonderful body that we were blessed with, and it is made up of a lot of special things. One of those things are the organs, the heart, the lungs, all of the little vital things that are all on the inside, things that we don't see or come into contact with. And then, of course, we have an inner outer, that oral cavity. That oral cavity is basically a tube, as you know, that starts with the mouth and ends that allows us to bring in the food and allows us to bring nutrients into the body and then again dispels the things that are not useful to the body.
Mhm.
And those two systems, even though they are in one body, they're actually two different systems. And that was the way it was intended by nature. There is some communication between the two because obviously you've got to get those nutrients out of your digestive tract into the body so that they can give you the benefits.
Mhm.
But when we run into trouble is that when we have over communication between that inner and that inner outer self. And how does that happen? Well, the oral cavity, of course, we know has teeth and gums and tongue and all that kind of stuff. And
Mhm.
ordinarily, everything is sealed off very tightly. And again, we have a natural aura of bacteria that's in the mouth that helps us to digest the food, mixes with the saliva when we're chewing it, so that when we swallow it, it begins to break it down and allows the body to extract the nutrients, so the most important things. However, if we have a compromise in the integrity of the oral cavity, which means that we perhaps have unhealthy gums. What that
Uh-oh.
means is that our gums don't fit tightly around the teeth. And as a result, it allows some of the bacteria and the bad stuff that may be in the mouth to be introduced into that inner self. And again, that is where the problem lies. If we're
Mhm.
completely healthy on the inner, then again, the body can kind of ward off any ill effects. But on the other hand, if we have any compromises on that inner self, then
Mhm.
that bacteria can begin to really throw complications in. So that's the reason why it's so important for us to be able to maintain good oral health so that we can, again, keep a nice, safe barrier between that inner self and the inner outer.
So
Oh,
that's,
you know what? I Joyce, are you like I'm always amazed, although doctors are doctors, right?
I know.
Dr. Don Tipton has DDS, those initials, also FAGD. We
Mm.
want to know what FAGD stands for.
Well, the FAGD is the Fellow of the Academy of General Dentistry. So that means that a general dentist who has pursued additional training and education and has actually sat down and demonstrated their learned capacity in an examination allows you to be able to don those additional credentials. So the Fellow Academy, American Academy of General Dentistry.
I love it. And Joyce is Joyce is your patient. So Joyce, it's like state of the art you told me in there.
I know it is. It is. So when I'm listening to Don, right? So I'm listening to him as a on the podcast, but I'm also listening to him like it sounds like what he was trying to explain to me the last time I was in his seat. But one of the things that's amazing is, we're a big component of education, right? Financial education, financial literacy, and it spills over into healthcare. So one of the things that I want Don to speak to more is the approach that he takes to educate his patients, right? Because I don't know about you, but when I go to the dentist, the anxiety level is like way up here, right? I mean, blood pressure is like off the chain. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go to the dentist. So when I go in, and if it's I met with, Joyce, how are you doing? It's good, it's great. But then I'm explained what's going to happen. The first thing we're going to do is this. The next thing we're going to do is that. The reason we're doing this is so that you have that. Now my anxiety starts to go down. So that's where, Don and his team does a fantastic job of educating you on the process. So walk us through why that's important and why you do it. And when you have someone difficult like me that comes in with anxiety up to here, how you might have to educate them a little differently. Like,
Well,
Joyce.
as they say, information is power. Information is
Mhm.
power. And I always like to approach uh, it as a partnership.
Mm.
I can't do it alone, but with your help,
A
there are a lot of things that
cooperation.
we can, get accomplished. So
Uh-huh.
again, I always explain to patients that 20% of the success of treatment is done in the office, but the
Mm.
80% of real long-term success is what we're doing at home on a day-to-day basis.
Mm.
So again, if we understand those little fundamental things that we need to do daily and consistently, again, that's half the battle, over half the battle. You know, the teeth, as we remember, are the strongest substance that the body makes.
Mm.
Teeth are the strongest substance that the body makes. And why do we say that? It's because science shows it. Is that if we had an unfortunate circumstance where an individual was exposed to some extreme conditions, i.e., water, fire, things of that nature, oftentimes the physical cells are gone, but the teeth remain. So
Mhm.
again, they are strong and they are intended to be with us throughout our lifetime. So again, with some care on a day-to-day basis, those teeth will stay and they will serve us throughout our lifetime. But because
Mm.
there are a couple of things that typically will happen to those teeth throughout our lifetime, And that's where I come in. I just want to sit down and I want to make sure that that information is shared because if we are all empowered with knowledge, so that if we get that knowledge early enough, then we understand what we need to do on a day-to-day basis to kind of stay away from some of those pits that may be out there for us that can get us caught up. So
Yeah,
again, education is really, really important part of what we do in the office.
right. I heard that. I heard that 80% is what you do after you leave the dentist's office. So that's like in our financial planning process. It takes participation on the client's part and our part. It's a partnership. I love that. And it's the day-to-day activities and things you do ongoing that's going to have the biggest impact on your retirement planning. You don't just wake up at 65 and retire. You've done some things along the way before you come into the office, right? Before you come in for your annual reviews, there are things you're doing in between that makes the difference. So one of the questions that I had when we were, preparing for the show was, when you look at dental care and building it in your budget, um, there's a myth a lot of times that people think Medicare covers everything or my health insurance covers everything. Um, Speak to what a person should expect when it comes to building in dental care and how important it is to put it as a priority next to your shoes, of course, on your budget list. Shoes first, ladies, always, right? Remember? But dental care and expenses come real close to that. So why is dental care so expensive, Dawn?
Well, you're worth it. That's what I always like to describe. You're worth it,
Okay. Yes.
and
Yes.
we have an opportunity to approach it a couple of different ways. We can take small bites, or we can sit down and eat the elephant at one time. And
Mm,
the recommendation is that by small bites, that means that that's that ongoing care that we receive
mhm,
daily, things that you do on a home basis. And I always encourage my patients to, while you still have good health,
mhm,
while you still have good energy and resistance and tolerance, all
mhm,
those kind of things, that's the time to kind of make sure that you've got your dental care well managed. One of the
mhm,
most disheartening conversations that I have to have is with patients who are older and that have committed themselves and their lives to a lot of other things other than their dental care. And then we meet and we have an opportunity to sit down and kind of talk about some things. And what they realize is that things have kind of gotten out of hand and now it's gotten to be really expensive and they're retired. They
mhm,
no longer have the dental coverage that they had at one time that they didn't really take full advantage of. Their
mhm,
health is now compromised, so they're a little less able to withstand some of the procedures or the tolerance of in going undergoing some of those long office visits that may be required in order to kind of get them to that good place. So by doing it early on, it allows us to kind of build that foundation of good oral health that allows us to kind of transition into those mature phases of life. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So Francine, don't wait till last minute.
Because,
No, you're not guilty of that. I know you're not.
Not at all. I'm sure
only
not.
brush the ones you want to keep. That's all.
As
What
they
is
say,
one
a
habit?
smile is a terrible thing to waste, I
That's
tell
all the terrible thing. I was waiting for that one.
you.
It's so true, right? What's one habit you wish we all did? Because we come in, I do a little fibbing in that chair. I'm like, yeah, I
Uh,
floss twice a day.
oh yeah, I
Yeah,
floss every day,
Yeah,
twice, three
yeah.
times.
Yeah, that's something we can all do more of. And again, making sure that we're getting using a good technique. So,
Mm,
making sure that proper flossing is something that we're doing. We're not just, popping a little something in between the teeth, but we're actually taking that tool and applied it in a very thorough way so that we're getting the full benefit from it.
mm. Now,
you got to
that's
do.
something that I think some dentists assume that a patient knows how to do. No matter how old they are, you should never make that assumption. And again, that goes back to why I love when I go there, because even though it may seem elementary, this is how you brush, this is how you floss. it's not always, you know, I can tell you how many times, I've heard them tell me that, and I go home and I do it right for the first, couple of weeks. But then after that, I'm like, now, how did he tell me to do that again? Like, okay, I guess it's time for me to go again and remember. But you can't make that assumption that people know some of the basic fundamentals. It's just like in financial planning. There's some fundamental things that people should know: emergency fund and getting out of debt and insurance and the purpose. But you cannot make that assumption when you're sitting down with a pre-retiree or retiree, because sometimes, unfortunately, that financial education was never taught. So definitely telling a person that every time is probably important, not just when they come in the first time.
Yeah, yeah. We got to I guess encourage and I guess what do they call it? Confirm,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
reaffirm the importance
Yep.
of
Yep.
those are things, reiterate all of those
Yep.
things. Yeah, we got
Yep.
to, because again, we drift, we drift.
Yeah.
That's kind of the
And
nature
God
of the
doesn't
human
lose
mind.
patience with you. He doesn't, say, I told you that the last time. Do not lose patience. Do not lose patience with your patient.
Not at all.
You know what? When we were kids, we got money when we lost teeth. Now we pay
Oh,
money.
yeah, you're right. Oh,
That's right. That's
so
right.
let's ask the dentist. Is that a good practice? That the fairy tooth fairy, whatever?
Tooth fairy.
Is
Tooth
that
fairy.
good for kids, or is that a good way to maybe encourage them to take dental care and dental habits early on, or is that
You
just
know,
a waste of money for the parent?
no, I think it has a is an opportunity for a good message there.
Okay.
Teeth have value. Teeth have
Mm-hmm.
value. They are important. And
Mm-hmm.
if we learn that early in life, that's a good
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
But again, it's the total package. It's not just the quarter, the dime. And I have to say quarter dime. That's what I used to get. But
I
they're getting
know.
$5 and twenty
Now they
dollars
want $10. I lost a teeth worth by $20.
That's right. But it's that opportunity then to begin that education process. And
Mhm.
again, it's not a dump, but it's
Yep.
constant feed,
Yep.
constant feed, every loose tooth.
Yep.
Okay, we've got another one coming, but we got to make sure that we're doing a good job of taking care of that because, of course, this next one will be the last one. You know, we
Yeah.
get two sets. That first set of those 20 teeth, and then we get that second set. That second
Mm.
set is a keeper. That's a
Hmm.
keeper. And
Ooh, we should
yeah,
say that. These are the keepers.
These are
yep.
the keepers. Right, right. You get a do-over, one
That's
do-over.
right. Just the one.
Yeah,
Just the one.
That's
Other
it.
than that, it gets to be very involved. Yes.
It
okay.
does. It does.
Got it. We got about 10 more minutes. If you're just now tuning in, you arrived at the dental party. Yes, a dental party we're having. I'm your co-host, Fran Marie. We have our host, Joyce Palmer. With JP Financial Group, you can go to jpfinancialgroupllc.com and you can schedule your complimentary consultation because we need to start talking about the teeth in our wealth package. Our guest today is the fabulous, the most amazing Dr. Don Tipton, DDS FAGD. Yes. And we can
Yeah.
go visit or make an appointment because you see, he doesn't bite. Ah, no pun intended.
And you remind me of something very interesting because your listeners are such an important part of what we do. We are extending an opportunity to come in for a free office consultation for
Woo.
anyone that is a listener of JP Financial and they said that they heard us or saw us on this podcast, then call the office, make an appointment, and we'll get you in and sit down and do a complimentary consultation with you.
And that number
Awesome.
is
Oh my God.
704.
The phone should be ringing off the hook.
That number is 704 412
No,
62.
let's try 704
Uh-huh.
540 2443.
Yes.
Okay.
You're going to call the right
704
number. Give that number again, Don.
704 540 2443.
Okay. That's catchy. 2443. Hey,
Yes,
gonna get
yes.
our teeth. And Or you could just go to caramel.commonsdental.com.
Yeah, and that'll do it. Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
Mhm,
yes, I
mhm.
love it. Because
Right?
guess what, y'all? Bleeding gums is not cool.
No.
No, no,
Mhm,
neither is bad breath. Mouth odors
mhm,
are not bleeding gums, mouth odors, those are signs. We
mm.
shouldn't try to cover those up with a mouth rinse. I mean, mouth rinse are helpful.
I
You
know.
know, they help to keep the bacteria count down.
A
But
bunch of
again,
mints.
odors, yeah, mints, odors are symptomatic of something going on there, and it requires a little bit of follow-up there. And oftentimes it's really simple to correct, especially if we catch it early. Very simple to reverse. It's not until it's gone on for an extended period of time and been left and has been left unattended that it gets
Mhm.
to be really involved and much more challenging and expensive. So the earlier the better. Always the earlier the better.
And is a soft toothbrush the best? Because I always thought the harder the better.
Well, and again, that's what they used to teach. But what we
Mhm.
know now, and we understand better, is that the gums that surround and protect the teeth are very tender and delicate. And if we rub them too hard with an aggressive brush, then they tend to shy away from and draw back from the tooth, which is really what we're trying to prevent. So I always
Mhm.
tell my patients, take the toothbrush, put it on the back of your hand, and brush it back and down about 5 to 10 times. And if your hand gets to be red and sore and uncomfortable, that bristles on that brush are probably a little too hard. You want something that's
Wow.
going to be thorough in its cleaning, but it's also going to be gentle so that we're not doing any unintended damage.
Mm. Mm.
Wow.
Good stuff.
Joyce, I'm gonna let you and Doc bring it on home. Bring it on home.
I mean, thank you, Dr. Don. He's extending that. I'm also full confession. I'm also Dr. Timpton's cousin, so I do get a little family deal.
Definitely,
But
definitely.
he's extending that same offer to all our listeners, so which is awesome, and we appreciate that so much. Um, some closing thoughts. I think when you think about retirement planning, it's not just protecting your nest egg, it's about also protecting the body that's going to enjoy the nest egg. And I found it fascinating to learn the connection between your mouth, your dental care, and your heart. And we know, ladies, heart disease is one of the biggest um, killers for women. And if you can take care of your heart, then you can prolong your life. And if you can take care of your mouth and your health and your dental health, it prolongs and protects your heart. So once I learned that connection, I became a little bit more heartfelt
Oh, good, good, good.
about the
Yes, yes.
way I took care of my dental care. So um, that's my parting words. Don, I just want you to extend that offer one more time because some of my listeners, they may not have had the hearing aid on the first beginning part. They need to hear that. They need to act to that, and then we'll take it out.
All right. Well, a couple of little thoughts I want to just kind of read, just a reminder. If I could read just a quick something. A
Yes.
smile. It cost nothing, but it creates much. It
Mm,
enriches those who receive without impoverishing those who give. It happens in a flash, and the memory of it lasts forever.
mm,
None are so rich they can get along without, nor so poor, but are richer for its benefits. It creates happiness in the home, fosters goodwill in a business, and is the countersign of friends. It is the rest. It is rest to the weary, daylight to the discouraged, sunshine to the sad, and nature's best antidote to trouble. Yet it cannot be bought, begged, borrowed, or stolen. For if it is something that is no earthly good to anyone until it is given away. So I would remind us that a smile is a terrible thing to waste. It's been a
and
pleasure,
he's a
ladies.
poet.
It has been
I
a
know that's
pleasure.
like dental ministry. That's cool.
And just to remind that we are in South Charlotte, located off the intersection of Carmel Road and Highway 51, right next to the brand new Publix, so you can get your shopping if you need to while you're there. But again, we're here to help. Anything that we can do, please reach out and touch. That's 704-540-2443. Carmel Commons Dental. And I thank you.
Oh man, you got the best dentist. I never thought that it would be fun to have a dentist.
No, I told you.
And folks can go to jpfinancialgroup.llc.com and then you can schedule your complimentary consultation. And you can have the same with Dr. Tipton.
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay, so I'm gonna say the number one more time. Everybody ready? It is 704-540-2443, or just go to carmelcommonsdental.com. Say hey to the whole team for us.
Yes. All right. Beautiful, beautiful.
Joyce, you know how we always end.
Yes.
Pink
Pink is the new
is the
color of
color of
money.
money. Bye, everybody. Subscribe, like, share.